Yeah, we are. We're good as hell.
Oh, did you
Yo,
see
we're
that that song I put up there for you?
Yeah, I just bought the album.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, almost every track on that album is great.
I got it rolling in the background right now.
The Infected Mushrooms, Friends on Mushrooms album.
EP,
Nice.
yeah.
It's so good.
This band, I don't know how the fuck they do it.
They just, I think they just work really hard. I think they're just always working.
Well, because I don't know. Like, you know, most techno has, or, you know, trance music has those really rough edges to...
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 50% of the stuff that they actually release. Every fucking track this band releases is so polished.
Yeah. Well, and it is in stark contrast to the latest single from Prodigy, where I heard it and I'm like, sure.
Actually, was rough years ago.
Yeah, no, their last couple albums have been pretty polished. Like if you look at Always Outnumbered, Never Outgunned, that was pretty great. Oh boy, you're drinking the whole thing.
There he goes.
Oh man, it's gonna go poorly.
Another.
I think you've had enough.
I just scared the shit out of Boomer.
So yeah, Battlefront looks pretty fucking great.
Yeah, it does. And
I mean,
atmosphere battles.
Even if it doesn't look this good, as long as it's still a Star Wars Battlefront game, I will probably get it and enjoy it.
Yeah, same here.
As long as it hits those notes, and you know, watching the dude roll up in the jetpack and pop that ATRT with that fucking rocket launcher, I'm like, yes, fish face, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Unofficial title.
It's Boba Fett.
Did you see that video from one of the cons where the guy is like running? There's 3 minutes of different Boba Fett's walking by in a line.
Oh, the Mandalorian parade? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some thick, some small. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Like,
oh man.
I was like, how long? It's like, holy shit, it's 3 minutes.
That's pretty great.
Watch that Ryan Reynolds movie just came out. Voices was really good.
Really?
I really enjoyed that movie.
I keep seeing stills of him in the Deadpool costume, and I keep getting more and more excited.
I thought it was going to be all a CG movie, like the teaser.
Yeah.
That leaked thing, and it's actually him in an actual suit. I'm like, oh.
Well, I think they're actually going to have the eyes animated.
Yep.
Because that's the bit. I think that's the thing I enjoyed the most about that Deadpool game was the way like the size of his whites really like emotes really well, and I bet you they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, they said it's some CG and some practical stuff, which would be pretty good. Speaking of practical, that tiny robot, I'm sure you guys saw that tiny robot in Star Wars trailer is practical.
Yeah. I got super excited
super cool.
about that.
I think that says a lot about how they're approaching Episode 7. And it's not like, here's a tiny robot and we just put a beach ball down. It's like, we'll fill it in with CG.
No. Well,
that didn't work out well.
JJ does those things like really well, like with Star Trek, with the phaser that has a flip from kill to stun. That's a practical effect.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like that's an actual thing that actually flips around for him.
I saw some people saying like, I don't think I'm gonna see this Star Wars movie because the 2 Star Trek reboot movies were really bad, and I was like, I don't know what movies you watched. Those movies are really good.
Which ones?
Star Wars.
Star Trek. Sorry. The first Star Trek movie is awesome. The second one is really good, really good. The first time you see it, it's still good. It's less good on subsequent viewings because you don't have that impact.
It's a little lengthy, but I think the first one's really punchy. I think it's a good like hour and a half, but I think both of them are super good.
I think they're fantastic.
Just that people would say like, "Oh, they're not good." It's like you cannot like them, but they're not bad movies.
Mm-hmm.
No,
they're not Transformers.
Right? Those are just abominations.
Yeah. There's some little part of me that it just tickles my brain watching a giant fucking robot. I'm sorry.
So does picking your nose too hard. That tickles your brain too. So
Yeah, that feels way better.
I feel terrible to live in your world.
So my only problem with the Transformers movies is I think for summer action movies, I think they're done really, really well, except for the part where two robots are fighting and the camera is way too close. That's my only problem. The rest of it, it's a fucking Michael Bay movie. Like, I can't hate it because it just is. But
I have no love for Transformers whatsoever. It was
I don't really either.
And
They're fun.
There's still like one of those moments you're watching movies, like when the first Transformer comes out and you sit there like and you watch Blackout stand up in the middle of that army base. You're like, that is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yep.
Like
there's so much cool
everything
stuff.
else doesn't matter. Nothing else matters in the rest of the movie except for Bone Crusher like running down the street like he's on roller skates. That was fucking awesome too.
It's just that I've always found the problem. I saw the first two and kind of tapped out after that. I just have that problem with the close camera on the robot on robot action. It just makes it too messy.
Number one, they shouldn't have fucking mouths. I don't care.
That's weird, but it's not a deal breaker for me.
Robot on robot action is always messy. Let's face it.
That's true, and hot.
Yeah.
Hot robot on.
That's why they have mouths, snobs.
I was watching. Yeah. Dude, come here, baby. Let me get your tailpipe.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. That would be a horrific version of Transformers Centipede.
The other Jay-Z in chat says, at least you know they're using lube.
Yeah.
All right, we're out.
Thanks.
See you guys later.
Good night.
Thank you, Cleveland.
No, what was fuck? Like I watched Dread again the other day. That movie's fucking great.
I haven't watched that yet. That's on my.
It's so good.
That's on my pile.
That is so disappointing that is never gonna get another shot.
Oh really?
Oh
yeah.
Did it do pretty poorly? Like at the box office?
Terribly. And the movie's, not just good. The movie's great.
I think it's done really well when it came home because everybody that has seen that movie has said that. So I think it's picking up a lot of steam as it goes.
Well, they've had interviews with the directors. The guy's like, I would love to make another one. It lost money. This is never going to happen again.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they can kickstart it. Who knows?
I think they've tried petitioning and yada 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 or whatever.
If we can get another Super Troopers, then we can probably get another anything.
I'm super excited for that Super Troopers movie.
Me too.
The best thing about it is they did Dredd right. He never took off the fucking helmet the entire movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a small thing. I think a lot of people wouldn't have done.
Oh. Well, because they all think of Dredd, that shitty Stallone movie. Granted, it was fun. I wish they would take that version of Mean Machine. Was so perfect. It was fucking amazing looking. In this crappy movie. Rob Schneider, whoa, making some copies.
Making some seashells.
You don't know how to use seashells?
He doesn't know how to use.
That's right. What was with him? Did that Stallone team up? They did Dredd and Demolition Man.
Oh yeah, weird.
Huh.
All right, you guys ready to do this thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do whatever we're doing. What are we doing?
Yep. Something.
I don't know, man. I just work here.
I'm a man, man.
Oh God, so good. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Going around the Skype room, we have Knobs.
What's up?
And we have the Hannah.
Hey.
Let's just get right into it. Knobs, what have you been playing in the last 7 calendar days?
In the last 7 calendar days, I have played a total of 2 games.
Okay.
I
also had a really busy week too, so I can't blame you.
Yeah, it's just, man, I'm just gassed when I get home. Like, I just don't want to think.
Yeah.
Battlefield 4, Monday Night Game Night. great time. Battlefield, the end of the night, silent treatment because Xbox Live didn't want to party up at all.
Great.
Kind of sucked. So all of us were all texting through different media, like through text message, Skype, Twitter, like all these different mediums, like trying to keep track of all this stuff. Everyone's just getting annoyed. And by some miracle, we're all so angry, we all end up with positive KDs.
Amazing. Just let the fear fuel you.
But yeah, so we had some frustrating times on Friday night. wasn't our best moment. So
You can't win them every
still
week.
a blast.
No.
Yeah.
Still having fun Monday night. So yada yada yada. Battlefield. Donnie-ism somewhere. Insert done. All right. So I picked up MK10 on Tuesday.
Nice.
It still kills me that it's not Mortal Kombat 10. I really hate that.
That's why I'm saying it.
You're
that
bringing
way.
it back.
Bringing it back.
All right, Mortal Kombat 10 because it literally is the 10th one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So. Oh yeah, I forgot about that Monday night. Jay-Z joined us for Monday night game night.
Hey, nice.
For the first time. I think he had fun for his first time ever playing Battlefield with this horrendous group of men.
With this band of jackals.
Yeah. A building fell on him, I think, at some point.
Great.
But
Battlefield.
No, it's an absolute riot to play with us, though. We just spin off the rails so quickly.
Oh, excuse me.
All right, so I was sitting there waiting for it to install, and you can play single player and like test out the fatalities and stuff. So I'm playing through it. Man, do they really like brain meats in this game?
They really do. And tons.
It's in almost every fatality you're seeing brain meats.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
Everywhere.
I've seen a lot of this game, and that is one thing to take away from it.
Doesn't it stick out though? Like brain meats.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of brains.
Like just sliding out. It's like, wouldn't it be cool if we can get like to move separately inside the melon?
Can we
there?
get the brain to jiggle a little bit more? Like
brain jiggle physics.
I still love the random blood spouts, like from like a severed body's like 3 spots, just like squirt, squirt. Like like that weird like goopy like blah, 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 noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I play with it, and then I was like, all right, well, enough of it installed. I'm gonna play one of the towers or test your luck things. And man, that first outing with this game, I hated it.
Oh, really?
And I was real close to putting an MK9 back in just to see like what went wrong here.
What happened?
Because MK9 was really easy to play and pick up and do cool stuff.
Yeah.
And so I start doing the training missions, and then I got to the point where there was some timing things. I was like, okay, can you show me? No, you gotta do it. Like
no, man, you figure it out.
Can you just it's a tutorial.
You're supposed to show me what to do.
Yes, you explain.
Yeah.
I felt like one of those I don't understand. Explain to him like he's a child. Like I was doing the Galaxy Quest. Like there was a lie. That's where I was. Explain.
It's like the explain like I'm 5 subreddit where it's like, okay, so what's the button for kick? Let's start off with that.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, so I'm doing moves and all right, the timing for this, and you do the little jump ropey things with Scorpion, and all right, that seems kind of complicated, but okay. So I'm I do it 3 or 4 times, get pissed, and then and I did it. I'm like, how did I do that?
That was so cool. What did I do?
And the same thing with working in a lot of these combos. I'm doing this stuff. I'm like, I cannot replicate any of this, and it's so frustrating. So frustrating. So I had a terrible night with it. I think it was, I don't know, it was Tuesday or Wednesday night. No, it was Tuesday night. Or I played a little bit of it, and I just couldn't wrap my brain around actually performing it well.
Right.
So then I finished letting it install. I didn't get back to it till I think Friday night. Not Friday night because I was playing Battlefield. Yeah, Friday night after Battlefield. I played a little bit of it, and I hopped right into the story mode, and apparently Johnny Cage is like superhero, like
Really?
like yeah, like they love them some Johnny Cage in this, so
Weird.
it's really fun, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole dynamic between what they're trying to do in the story mode with the second generation of warriors coming up, and they're all kids of kids of kids.
Yeah, the kids of warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like following in the footsteps and stuff, and
they combat kids.
Yeah, you know what? It's really fun. It's really fun. Devora, the bug chick, has the worst voice.
Oh,
ever.
I haven't heard her voice. Some of her combos look nasty.
Oh, they're nasty, but anytime that thing opens its mouth to speak, I
gotta go.
I can't handle it. It's the worst, and she talks a lot.
Oh, that bad, huh?
Oh. It's
the thing that I really enjoyed, and one of the reasons why I would probably so I've heard the story mode is a little bit short. It's only about 4 or 5 hours, which
I know why it's short too.
Why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Because they didn't do what they did in MK9, where you played the villain side of things.
Oh,
that was completely cut. Now I'm really disappointed with it, because that was like one of my favorite things in MK9 was, playing as like the cyborg people. I forgot what clan they were. Black Lotus or something.
Clan Cyborg.
Whatever.
Clan Transformers.
Yes, those dudes.
Clan Michael Bay.
And their fall into becoming these complete mechanized dudes. And playing as Smoke and finding out what's going on there.
That stuff was so good.
That was the best part about it. Not saying this was bad.
The other Jay-Z says Lin Kuei.
No, Lin Kuei is...
That's Sub-Zero's?
That's Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
So many robots, cyborg thing. Ugh.
Ninjas. The whatever kimchi,
Dragons.
Whatever thing.
Clan kimchi.
Clan pho.
Clan fermented cabbage.
The thing that I thought was really interesting, and one of the reasons, so they brought the towers back, and they had like a press your luck and press your might tower, but I think the part that was really interesting, and the part that really turned me on to the multiplayer, or at least the couch co-op, was the test your luck, I think it is, for 2-player.
Yeah.
Where it comes up with random modifiers, where it's like, okay, now everybody has, when you stand in this ray of light, it charges your super, but nobody can run, and you do double damage.
Yeah.
Or like, you have no supers, and you have 1 hit point, and everybody's 3 times as fast.
Ooh.
Yeah. Like, it's all that dumb stuff, and now the multiplier, or the modifiers are up to 5.
Yeah. It's so that stuff, I can't imagine if you had people that you could play couch co-op with MK10 with. I couldn't imagine how much time you could get out of that mode.
Oh, it'd be nonstop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be an absolute riot. What else? What else I think was funny? Yeah, Sonya Blade looks an awful lot like Veronica Vaughn from Billy Madison. Like, almost like
weird.
Like that's like they took her picture. That's Sonya right there.
Right. Just make her look like that.
Just make her look like that. Which,
wow.
Because she's a very unique looking chick. I mean,
yeah. That's funny. I think I think the crypt looks super cool. Looks simple, but I think it's cool looking.
The crypt is I think I dropped maybe like 2 hours in the crypt today.
Yeah.
Just wandering around, finding different items in the crypt to get into different spots.
Right.
I loved it. And then there's random instances, like you go down the caves, you get checked by giant spiders. You're walking around the graveyard, you get attacked by wolves. You're in Shang Tsung's tomb blood thing, and these bloody dudes pop out of the blood water that's everywhere. What else? There's another one too. That was just another lie.
I think it's kind of neat that they turned Mortal Kombat into like a first-person classic dungeon crawler, so you can unlock your stuff. I think that's neat.
You're just going around, pick just random like headstones and stuff.
Yeah.
And they did a lot more everything's really diversified as far as what the stones look like. You're not really sure if like is that one until you walk up on it.
Right.
Then they have random ones that are timed that pop up and disappear.
Oh.
You can gamble coins to get random stuff. I think that's a really cool system because I think in a lot of fighting games, even when you look at Street Fighter 4, DOA 5.
Yeah.
There's so many things where it's like, okay, I played 10 online matches with Kasumi, so now I got a new title for Kasumi, and it's like, okay, cool, but like, the crypt to me has always been kind of fun for, okay, I just spent 5,000 coins on this thing. What is it gonna be? Oh, okay, it's cool. It's this cool concept art for this one background. Oh, that's kind of cool. Or like, now I got a different skin for one of these characters, or I got a different fatality or something like that. And it's like, all right, that's kind of cool.
Dude, these guys have like 8 brutalities.
Yeah, brutalities are so cool in this game.
I haven't done any of them yet, but...
Yeah, so for those that are listening that don't know, brutalities are kind of... It seems like they're kind of bringing back bragging rights that fatalities used to be in the arcade. Where it's sort of like, if somebody pulled off a fatality on you in the arcade, it was sort of like, okay, I really lost. Like, you got that one. But brutalities in this, it's a lot of stuff where it's, you have to meet these specific, like, for one of the, who's the blue spinny fan lady?
Oh, Katana.
Yeah. Like, you could do something like lift your enemy up, 3 times in a match, and then lift them up again, and then kill them in that, and then that'll be brutality. I don't think that's one of them, but you have to do these specific things throughout the entire match, and then finish with the same thing, and it'll do something not entirely horrific, but it's kind of like, I really won, and here's a little extra something, because I went through these steps to get this crazy thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Raiden's a tank again. Which I don't think I lost a match with him. Jax, I kind of got the hang of Jax a little bit. And there's like this game is decidedly short of ninjas. Like,
yeah, and you know what?
That's weird.
Unfortunately, short of is the cyborgs.
Yes, there isn't any of them.
Yeah, that sucks.
Well, except you get reference to Sector at some point where you're looking through his brain memories.
I want to play as the red one.
Yeah, Sector.
Whatever his name is.
No, was it Sector or Cyrax? No,
Cyrax was yellow, Sector's red, Smoke was purple.
Okay.
I gotcha.
Smoke was not purple.
In MK3 he was.
Some
That's
versions,
what I'm going off.
And he was a ninja in some of them. Some of them he was a robot.
Yeah.
Some he was purple, some he was gray.
But all those characters they're in the game too, like at some point, except for the cyborgs. And
hopefully there'll be DLC. Somebody started cracking open the files on the PC version and found like Baraka, found some other characters in there. So
no, I mean all those they're in game. Like Baraka's in there, he gets killed real quick.
Yeah, I mean like as playable characters though.
You fight most of them. Yeah. Like Sindel, Katana. Well, Katana I think's playable. Liu Kang, Smoke.
Nice.
There's another one. I don't know, but I loved like the group of ninjas. Like they were always seemed to be like Smoke was so easy to play.
There's like 10 of them now. Ermac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ermac looks so. I like what they did with Ermac more than anything, just because they made him really cool. Other than the Red Ninja, Rain. Yeah, there's another one. He's in the game too. I don't even know if I don't think he's playable.
Though I'm kind of mixed about what they did with Reptile though. I kind of always liked old Reptile where he was a ninja and then he pulled off a mask. It's like, well, Lizard Man. It was just a Lizard Man, like from freaking Soul Calibur.
He doesn't have a sword and shield though. I think that would completely.
No, Lizard Man is way cooler.
Yeah.
Lizard Man for life.
But I just get images of Archer.
Just the raptor.
Yeah, I don't know. MK10 looks pretty cool.
It looks I don't know. I don't know how much fun that'd be to play online with other than people I know, because right now, like, even playing that, why in this game is there always that dude that spams like this ridiculous like ray blast?
Yeah, I feel like NetherRealm constantly has that problem where everybody's like, oh, okay, this character will just end everybody online. That's all we play as. You know.
Well, it was the same problem with Shao Kahn. Like, he just had this loop of moves that you're just like, set the controller down, just take my beating.
Well, Injustice had that same problem too.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know.
it did. I remember that
What
too.
is it, Nighthawk?
Yes.
Is the one in Injustice? Yeah. I never even played Injustice, and I know this. Like, that's how big of a problem it is.
But yeah, I mean, this one, he hits you with this ray beam that goes across the screen, and he hits you 4 to 5 times with it in a row, and you're just like, man.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna stay over here. You can just keep on doing that. You got the win this time.
If you were sitting next to me, man, that'd be a fist fight. Like,
oh yeah.
Angry, and it throws you into a fight with a character you really don't know how to use yet, too.
Oh.
Which is, I think, the other drawback in the game is you don't really get any sort of setup to their move sets, and you're just like, oh, here you go, fight. Like,
how many battles in the story mode? How many battles are there per character typically?
3 to 4.
Okay, so that's kind of similar to the last one, but I feel like in the last one they, when they dumped you in, they're like, I don't know, fight these like 10 faceless ninjas, and you at least had a couple minutes to kind of say like, oh, okay. Now I know how to do the Scorpions get over here thing. All right. Okay, cool. Here's a teleport. Gotcha.
There's no missions in this one either.
Oh, that's
Is there?
Not that I've seen.
Yeah, because they had that big mission tower where everyone were trying to work their way up.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I like that mode.
No, there are mission towers. Yeah. There's some towers where it's like, okay, now on this floor you're poisoned, and you have to fight 3 enemies.
Oh, okay.
That's in there.
Well,
somewhere.
I really haven't dug into it much.
Oh well, no.
The story mode so far.
The cool thing, yeah, the other JZ's right in chat. They replaced it with the living tower. They actually have daily and weekly towers. So like the daily ones, there's a different tower every day, different weekly ones, and then they have kind of different random ones as you pick the living towers.
Yeah, I did get the Goro, but I haven't played as him yet.
Oh, okay. Looks
awesome. The crazy symbiote dude. This got the little Master Blaster guy behind on his back.
It has a weird name. I don't remember.
That character seems like a lot of fun, like a lot of crazy fun.
Nice to see them doing something different.
Yeah, they're the X-rays are all extra brutal this time around.
Yeah,
most of them.
They seem a little long.
Yeah, but like, they're doing 30% damage, though. I mean, almost consistently.
True. It's kind of, without playing it and watching a lot of it, it's a lot of, oh, I did an X-ray, and here's like 4 different X-ray moves, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, let's get back to the thing where we fight.
Yeah, I think it's more or less that it's justifying the amount of damage they're doing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm gonna play some more of it and see how it goes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But as far as I don't know. I like the story mode a lot. I just wish it was you played the villains a little bit.
Yeah,
like the Outworld stuff would have been really cool because I was really curious to find out who the hell Aaron Black is, but because apparently he's an Earther. I don't know.
Oh, weird.
So
weird.
But that's about as much backstory as I got from him. And man, I just wanted Sony to rip Kano's eye out, and it totally didn't do it.
Oh, man. That's a bummer.
You do collect someone's head at some point, though. It was really cool, really fun. But yeah, for the most part, it's more Mortal Kombat. But I think the ease of play they jumped the shark a little bit, from my opinion, because MK9 just brought you right back in, and then it took like the MK3 step, like in Myst 2.
Right.
Like 2 was more of an elaboration of what they could do with 1, and then if you just played 1 and then went to 3, you're like, I don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
Like it feels like this weird jump in movesets.
It's like Ultimate MK3, and you're just like, what is happening?
All I know is my thumb hurts. So.
Anything else you played this week?
No, that was it.
All right, Hannah. What about you?
I played a whole bunch of stuff this week. I got my copy of Shadow Warrior in that I ordered on the last podcast.
Ooh, did you throw it in?
I did. I played for like 20 minutes. I really like the way it feels. I just never got back to it because I played it a million other things.
I played probably an hour of that. So let's talk about Shadow Warrior.
Yeah.
Shadow Warrior is really great.
I'm so happy you guys played it.
So it has such a great joke right at the beginning because you pick start and it shows the 3D Realms logo like Knobs was talking about, but it shows the old one and someone is just playing the original Shadow Warrior.
Yeah.
Like, and I sat there and I was waiting for like the camera to pan out and like your main character is like playing an arcade machine or something. No, it's just the game is just someone is playing Shadow Warrior 1 really well. And you can just sit there and watch it. And you hit a button, and then it goes to the actual game.
Like, I watched probably 15 minutes of it. Just like, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to interact with it to get it to go anywhere.
Yeah. I really like that Shadow Warrior from minute one does not take itself seriously from the moment that your main character is seeing the power in his car while he's driving to this place.
Yes.
It's just, and the sword play is really great. It's really great just mashing that button and just swinging your sword and just dudes getting cut.
Yeah, lopping dudes in half, like chopping limbs off.
And it is fast.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
When you run, you start cooking. Like, there should be flames coming out of the back of you. Like,
there should be.
That game's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I'm hoping to get to more of it soon, but I've got so many other things I'm playing currently that I just it's gonna have to go on the back burner. It's gonna have to be a palate cleanser, I think.
Knobs, did you find the Shadow Warrior Easter egg behind one of the waterfalls in the first level?
No.
Okay.
Ooh.
Hannah, you should keep an eye out for that.
Okay, I will definitely.
I know. Like the last time I played it, I went through a wall and it went back to like the old block style where there's some chick in like a big like hot tub that's like 2-dimensional pain person. Just
man.
You couldn't interact with her. She's just washing. La da da da. Like just.
That's pretty great.
I think that's on the live stream when that happened too. I was like, what happened? I walked out of the room, went back into it.
That's pretty great.
That's good stuff. Hung out with a couple of buddies of mine I haven't seen in a while last night, and we played a couple of really random titles. We played multiplayer on Resistance: Fall of Man, the first one.
Okay.
That was really fun.
Huh.
They had some crazy weapons in that game. I've never touched that game at all.
Did that come out for PS3?
That was PS3 only.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Insomniac.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking of Killzone. Killzone 1 came out for PS2.
Yeah. So that game's a ton of fun. You got some really wacky options inside the game modes because you can turn on how many random weapons you spawn with.
Oh.
And what weapons you have. So you can spawn with up to 8 random weapons.
It's like playing Worms, where it's just like, okay, we don't have all these weapons, but we do have these ones.
Yes. Yeah. So the 2 most popular weapons turned out to be the rocket launcher, obviously.
Naturally.
And the flamethrower.
Naturally.
Because you could counter...
Scorcher on Scorcher crime.
Yeah, pretty much. It turned into a battle of... I forget what map we were on, but there was this center area, and you have these fans where you can like hop on them and you jump up to the second level. And it was basically who fired their rocket first and how close did you get it to the other person who survived. And if you didn't have the rocket launcher, you basically came up spraying flames.
Right.
And if you got them, the best thing about that flamethrower, if you got lit on fire, we didn't see a way to put it out.
Okay.
So you're just on fire until you die.
Great. I like this already.
It sort of just puts a timer on. It's like, okay, I gotta kill a bunch of dudes before I die. I'm taking down real quick here. Let me get my rocket launcher. Let me get some more ammo for it, and let's ride. It was a ton of fun. The alt fire on the rocket, not on the rocket launcher. I'm sorry, on the flamethrower was really interesting too because you could use it to set traps. Because you would just light an area of the level on fire. It would basically like napalm it. And you would like walk across that and be like, well, okay, yeah, now I'm on fire. Thanks.
That sounds okay.
Yeah, it ended up being a really good time. But after that, we decided to switch it up and play a little bit of the original Street Fighter 4. Like the original, like
Vanilla
the first
Street Fighter 4.
Vanilla.
Yeah. Zangief is a beast in that game.
Yup.
Yep.
He hits like a truck.
Yeah.
Every time I went up against him, I was like, I really hope I get someone fast, because if I don't, I'm not gonna win at all.
Yeah, there's a reason why everyone used to pick him.
Yeah. So we were doing random, and the best thing happened. We had 2 matches in a row where it was Chun-Li versus Dalsim.
Oh no.
On that, and that's just such a boring fight, because it's like, oh, Dalsim's gonna punch from across the screen. Oh, Chun-Li's gonna do a bunch of kicks. Oh, they're both gonna take damage.
Yeah. Great. Great.
And that was the whole match for, good 5 minutes there, because who uses timers?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
You bump that match count up to 5, you turn off all your timers.
Yeah.
You don't need any of them.
I mean, we're here to enjoy it. We're not here to race through it. Come on, it's not a speed run.
Yeah. So we had a bunch of fun with that, just playing a bunch of random matches. I played a bit more of the Talos Principle.
Ooh, yeah.
I still don't know what this game's about. I still don't really understand anything that's happening in the... I don't even know if you can call it a story. It's just sort of a narrative.
That's one of those games where I would hope at the end it would come together, and there's one big bombshell at the end, and you're like, oh.
Well, supposedly there's 3 endings.
Oh, okay. Well, it is a puzzle game, so I guess.
Yeah, I'll have to sort of dig through that and figure out which ending I'm on the path for, and which endings I'm going to see.
I wonder if that's mostly a completion thing, where it's like you get the best ending if you do 100%.
Yeah, it sounds like it is.
Yeah,
based on some of the stuff I've read, because in each level there's not only the tetraminos, the sigils. But there's also stars that you can get, and sometimes they're inside of one of the puzzles, and sometimes they're not.
Oh,
so you have to actually go and revisit some of the puzzles and get a set of keys and unlock a gate outside of the puzzles, and get an item so that you can access a star outside of it. It was really weird the first time I came across it. I was like, oh, what do these do?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, so where do I use these? Oh, I use them over there. What? Oh, it's a jammer. Okay, so now I can go back. I can take down this force field temporarily, and I can go in and get that star.
Wow.
Yeah, it was... this is a crazy, crazy good puzzle game. If you are itching for something that is sort of like Portal, it just every moment reminds me of Portal. Yeah. And I don't know why. It's a very different puzzle game. The only real relationship it has with it is it's first person. But the stuff you're attempting to do is very much in line with Portal's level design philosophy. You're trying to sort of outwit the entire... Oh, there was my video.
Hey, all right. Trying to outwit Skype.
Yeah, apparently. God, this thing is not happy with me today. But yeah, you're trying to just outwit these levels and figure out the path of least resistance. It seems like there's multiple solutions and there's multiple ways to do some of the puzzles, as evidenced by the fact that in one of the puzzles, so you have these things called jammers, and they can stop pretty much any electronics in these levels. You have force fields that you can jam. You have these they look like the little orb droids from the Star Wars games, only without the antennas. They're just floating mines. If you get too close to it, they just blow up.
Well, that's not
good. And then there's turrets just mounted on the wall that can kill you.
Yeah, why
but
not?
You can use the jammers on all of these things. And there was one puzzle where if you had to jam the little mine, and then you had to jam the turret, and you had to go get the other jammer that was in place near them, and then just pull all of that away. The mine will approach the turret and blow itself up and take both of them out, and you can then move all 3 jammers into the next area, and if you do that, you can actually get the star for that level.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's if you don't, think things all the way through, you could just jam, the 2 things and then jam the door and then go in and get the puzzle piece. But if you don't have, what you need to get that star, you'd have to go back and rearrange it. It's really fun.
That's pretty cool. I like when puzzle games do that. Because it's one of those things where it's like, oh, why are there 3 in here? That's weird. And then you kind of like look around and you kind of think about it, and you're like, oh, okay, well, okay, well, I can get this extra thing. Maybe it does something, maybe it doesn't, but you know, that's pretty cool.
There's another really interesting one where you have it's all like, it all looks like ruins if you've not seen the game, but they have like, you know, turrets and like super robotic looking mines and
in like Egyptian ruins.
Yeah, it's like this real weird juxtaposition of like 2 different.
It's like Serious Sam meets Tetris.
Sorta, yeah.
Well, it's the same people who made Serious Sam, so
yeah.
No, seriously. You know, when there's some pyramids, you got some Sam.
Oh yeah, it's always, anytime there's a pyramid, Serious Sam, make this guy.
And a robot spider.
Scorpions.
There's one where it's just, you have these like holes, like windows carved in these walls. And if you move the jammer to just the right point, you can bypass like a majority of the level by jamming just the one door you need from like a huge distance.
I think that's one of the levels that Giant Bomb showed off in their quick look.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the levels where I was like, okay, all right, maybe there's something to the puzzles in this game. It's not simple, it's not too hard, but it's kind of, it seems like it's just challenging enough.
Yeah, and it's interesting having played the demo for it and going into the full game. The demo, they just give you like a smattering of different puzzles throughout the game. The first part of that game is all pretty much the same. You get a bunch of jammers, you move some stuff around, you get to the goal, and you just, you get that Tetramino. In the later parts of the game, or at least in the second couple of puzzles in the demo, you get a dog that's just creeping up on knobs.
His dog just creeping in frame like, hello.
Hi.
He crawled through the armrest hole.
That's even better.
He may not be the smartest, but he does love you.
He does.
See you later.
And then he just walks away. But no, there's puzzles in the later part of the game where you're doing like crazy stuff. You're like finding like a giant fan rotor that you have to put on like the engine for it, so it starts spinning the fan, and then you have to put a block on there. But oh wait, you shouldn't put the block on there yet because you have to put the laser thing on there and start it, and then put the block on there so that the fan blows it up and it can hit the target. It's insane.
It's like that point where you're in Portal 2 and it's like the last like bouncy colored goop puzzle, and you're just like, I know what I need to do, but I'm not entirely sure I know how I got here.
Yeah.
But
which
I
direction
feel
I have to
pretty
go.
smart.
Yeah. You know what you have to do, but you couldn't verbalize it if you were asked to.
Yep.
I remember being stuck at like the areas as you're working your way up the area, and you're sitting there looking around, you're like, all right, what next?
And you see like one little gleaming spot of white, you're like, I wonder, and you shoot a portal at it, and you're like, oh, okay.
That looks like some moon paint. I might be able to hit that.
Yeah.
Moon paint, I like that. But yeah, I played a little bit more of that, and it's still really fun. I highly recommend it to anyone who's a fan of like puzzle games or Portal or anything. Really cool stuff. I also played a bit more Bloodborne this morning. I made my way to the second boss in, I think, probably the most difficult way I could have.
Great.
I found like a secret passage in one of the buildings I've been in already. So I beat the first boss, and I haven't touched this game in I think 2 weeks.
Right.
So I come back in and I'm like, okay, I'm at the lamp on the bridge. I need to get to the other one that's by like the start of the level. So I sort of make my way back and I open up the shortcut between those two areas. So I'm like, oh, okay, I have a shortcut now. That's good. I can get to this area without having to go all the way through all the crazy stuff. And I hopped into it's this church, and I went down to the main floor. I killed a couple of guys, and I was like, I saw something up there. There was a window up there. There seems to be a second floor here. I'm gonna go up there because I saw some like the little shiny things you get.
Yeah, the little
on the
items.
bodies. You're like, okay, I need to go get some stuff.
Yeah.
So breaking a bunch of barrels. Lo and behold, there's a broken window. I drop through, and I'm like, oh great, now I'm stuck unless I jump down. All right, let's explore this area thoroughly. There's a little area where you meet a woman who's also dressed as a hunter, I think. I can't tell exactly what she's supposed to be, but she's got like that plague doctor mask on.
Oh, cool.
And she's got like the full hat and like full garb. Like I didn't even know it was a woman until she spoke.
Right.
So I meet her, and she gives me, I think, bold hunter's marks, which lets you reset and keep your blood echoes. So it gives you like a way, like if you're like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to survive this, but I've got like 50,000 blood echoes. I'm going to go level up a bit. And
Yeah,
come
you don't
back.
want to lose those.
Yeah. So that was cool. And then if you talk to her again, she gave me another item, and it said it was some sort of like cloak. And there was something in there about like shaking in my boots, and like cloak referenced that. I don't know where it went. It's not in my inventory anymore. Can't find it. Yeah. So that was weird. I get out of there, and I see. So this, you're at like the second floor of this building, but it's not like a complete second floor. You've got like some scaffolding around the edges and like beams in between the sections. And in between these beams, there are dudes just dead dudes hanging from chains.
Okay.
So I go, and they've got items. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go up and get the item off them. No, you're not. You can't get the item off them because they're just hanging just a little bit too low.
Yeah, because you're in another realm.
Because you have, so you have to cut them down. You have to cut them loose, and they drop not to the floor directly below you, like 2 or 3 floors down into like the sewers.
Oh, of course.
So I'm like, okay, well, I came here to get these items. I'm gonna go get those items.
Spuggy paint cans.
So I drop down to the floor directly below me, and I try to find a way down, and I just sort of gave up. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to drop down again, lose a little bit of health. I think ran into some rats because, it's a sewer. There's giant rats.
Oh, can the rats kill you?
Oh, yeah. Easily.
Yeah,
everything in this game can kill you.
That's true.
So I get I'm glad I dropped down on the side I did, because it turns out one body, there's 2 different bodies hanging. So you chop one down, it lands on one side of this sewer reservoir, and then the other body drops on the other side. I dropped on the side with the guy that was holding a new weapon for me. It was the saw spear.
Ooh.
Which sounds real cool. Haven't tried it yet because I'm real loath to change anything up as long as it's working in this game.
Yeah. So
I get that, and I'm like, okay, where do I go from here? Because there's no ladder back up. So I'm like, well, I guess
shoot the spear up.
There you go.
I don't think that's how that one works, unfortunately. I should have tried it though. You never know. It is Bloodborne. So I kill all the enemies in the area I'm at because I don't want anything following me on accident. I go down into like the little sewer reservoir, kill a couple more rats there, and start following it, and just like, okay, where am I going? Where am I heading? Killing enemies.
Are they rats of unusual size?
They are. They're definitely rats of unusual size.
Well, like the other JZ in chat says, the crows are huge too. Like they're not, like they look more like chimeras more than crows.
They look like just debris on the ground. I constantly walk into those things and go, oh god, I'm dying.
It's like Dead Space where it's like, that guy's dead. Oh god.
Yeah, it's very similar to that. So I'm walking, I'm killing the crows, I'm killing the rats. I come across the occasional like lycanthrope looking dude who's got a spear, is just way too fast. Kill those guys. And I see I get to a spot where there's like an open area in the sewer, and there's like a little shiny thing, and I'm like, ooh, shiny thing. And now I've learned.
You fool.
Yeah. It just didn't go off in my head. The alarm bell.
Your magpie brain was just like, I gotta get it. It's shining.
It's a shiny thing. I gotta go get it. And I hit it, and it's like, oh, you're full on Quicksilver bullets. I'm like, oh, it was just bullets. And then suddenly I'm getting hit, and I don't know from where. And then I realize
it's a trap.
It's a pile of like just torsos.
Oh god.
And just dudes attacking me. I'm like, oh god, just get off of me,
dudes.
Yeah. So I back out of that, and they're tough for being just the top half of a dude.
Yeah.
They got a lot of stamina, so it took like 5 or 6 hits per. Jeez. And I'm just taking them down. I finally get, I get a couple blood vials out of it, and I march my way down, and I get to the end, and I kill a couple crows. I hop up. I find a ladder, finally, like the tallest ladder, and it brings me all the way up. And I'm at yet another, I think, bridge. It looked like a bridge. It may have just been like a little overpass. But so I walk up, and I see at the end there's like 5, maybe 6 guys just sort of hanging out, waiting. I'm like, this can't be good. Like, it's really obvious that they're just looking at me, just like, is he coming?
When did bridges become the new elevators?
Who knows, man.
Bloodborne.
It seems like anytime I've come across a bridge in modern gaming has been like a crazy fight. Just like every elevator in old games.
Yeah.
So I walk about halfway across this bridge and I stop and I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, okay, do I want to like throw a rock at them? And I inch a little bit closer and they start coming at me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let it. And they're all
Game on.
and they're all moving at different speeds. So I start backing up. I'm like, okay, who am I gonna have to take out first?
Yeah.
And then I see a giant flaming boulder coming,
Great.
just out of nowhere.
Behind you?
No, from behind the dudes. So it's coming at them too. So I just turn and book it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it rolls like 5 of them. I still got to deal with one of them.
Oh, do you have a whip? Did you Indiana Jones your way out of it?
I wish I could have. No, I just sort of dodge rolled and like hoped I made it. That was amazing. Like that is a set piece in a game. That was awesome. And then behind the boulder was a giant dude with a brick who wants to kill me.
Great.
Just a brick?
He's like
Was he
he's
a
got a
crit?
good 6 feet on me, and he's got a brick, like a cinder block.
Like just a normal like 12 by 8 cinder block, or
Maybe bigger than that.
or is it like a side of a marble castle?
It's a little
What are we
hard to
talking
tell because
about
it's
this?
going from like
I want to know how threatening this
Here.
brick is.
He's 12 foot
That's-
tall. Who cares?
Then a brick would look like a little rock.
It's Goro. He's fighting Goro.
effectively, yeah. So, dodging around him, got him locked on, take him out and turn around and see a dude with like a scarecrow bag over his head and like part of a door or something for a shield and a torch. I'm like, what? Okay, I gotta kill this guy now.
Just
Was it a
picking up-
sliding glass door, or was
I'm
it?
gonna
No,
click
it was,
the
it was a wooden door. It was like wooden planks.
I'm sorry,
Was it a
literal
mid-century
John's in the
modern,
house.
or was it like a Spanish style? Like what were we? What
Was
were
it
we
made
talking
of balsa wood, or like is
Yeah.
it an interior door, or exterior door?
It's
'Cause
a
that
nice,
makes a big
really-
It's definitely an exterior
It's a
door. It
nice
had some-
cherry oak.
Yeah, it was blocking pretty good. So I get past all this. I go to the next little hallway area. There's 2 of those like werewolf, like lycanthrope looking dudes, and I take them down just barely holding on. I've got like 2 blood vials left at this point. I go around the corner and I see like an opener, like a slightly more open area, and there's some like gravestones and stuff. And I stop and I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
What's
and
gonna kill me in here?
And I think I see a dude in the distance, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna cautiously approach this area, and I'm gonna take it real slow. And I move the thumbstick like not even a millimeter, and it cuts into a cutscene, and it's a boss fight. And I'm at the second boss, and I'm like, oh no, I'm completely unprepared. I died in a matter of minutes, and I respawn. And so all of that, I respawn in the same spot. I follow the same path, but instead of going through the church and finding the secret passage and doing all that stuff and trying to get the items, I go down and there's 2 of the dudes with the large guys, like the 12-foot dudes with bricks. I pick them off one by one. I go past them to a door, and there's an elevator.
Yeah.
And I call the elevator, I get on the elevator, and I get out of the elevator, and I'm right at the bridge again. So, like, could have saved myself, like, an hour and a half, had I just explored just a little bit more.
Yeah, but that's what's so great about the Souls games is that sort of stuff where it's like, I'm gonna see what's over here, and an hour and a half later you're like, I don't know where I am. I have a lot of cool stuff though, but
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
That was the thing that kept happening. I have no idea where I am. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna go check this guy. Oh, cutscene.
Yeah, well, that's a boss.
Yeah, he rolled me pretty quick. So
Nice.
I'm looking forward to trying to figure out how to fight him. And that was my Bloodborne adventure for the week. I'm hoping to play a little bit more of that as it goes. I picked up Titan Souls for the
I did
Vita and the
too.
PS4, and I played not enough of it.
Oh man, I
This-
played a bunch of that.
It is. How good is that game?
I'm about 8 bosses down.
Okay.
8 bosses and like 70 deaths, I think.
Oh, I am 1 boss down and probably like a dozen deaths because have you? So you beat the big block that just sort of shoots lasers everywhere?
The one that turns? That
Yeah.
flips over? Yeah. So for anybody that hasn't seen Titan Souls, because I feel like it Sony sort of at E3 maybe or PSX, I don't remember, was sort of selling this, and then it kind of disappeared until it came out. Basically, it's kind of a combination of Shadow of the Colossus and the Souls games.
Yes.
Where you're only fighting bosses, and it's top down, it's 2D.
Mm-hmm.
You can take one hit, and each one of the bosses only takes one hit to kill them.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are kind of complicated. Like the one that Hannah's talking about it's a cube, and it rolls, it kind of turns over on its side 4 times, and then it shoots a laser.
Yeah.
And almost every weak point on these bosses is like purplish, pinkish.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I love so much about Titan Souls is you know how to kill the boss almost immediately. Like you walk into the boss room and you see it and you're like, okay, that's all right, I gotta shoot my arrow into this thing's eye, the thing that shoots its laser. Cool. And you maybe die once or twice, and you're like, okay, so it rolls 4 times, and then it shoots its laser. Okay, all right, that's cool. And you kind of still can't get it because it moves faster than you do.
Yeah.
And eventually you're like, okay, so I can probably get it to roll, and then I can kind of shoot on an angle and get it in the eye. And it's so great because you know exactly what you need to do. It requires, in a really satisfying way, perfect execution. Yeah. Because if you don't do it perfectly, you die. Because they'll hit you once and you're done. And there's just something like the Souls games where you beat a boss and you're like, yeah, champion!
Champion!
It's the same thing where you beat a boss, even some of the really easy beginning ones. And
those are the easy ones?
Oh my god, dude, you have no idea.
App!
Yeah. Like the first 5 bosses are pretty easy, but they're teaching you so much about the game, and it's so great because as soon as your arrow lands in that spot, the game freezes and it goes in black and white, and you have to pull your arrow back out, and it like zooms in a little bit. So as soon as you hit that boss with that arrow, the whole thing freezes, and it's so satisfying. It's just like, oh, I finally got. Oh, thank you. Oh, so much swearing for the last half an hour, and now I finally.
Well, the interesting thing to me is the control scheme, and so you have a bow and arrow, and when I say bow and arrow, I mean arrow singular.
Yeah, you just have the one
arrow.
Yeah,
and you have to. So when you fire it, if you miss and you don't hit them in their weak point, you have to hold your attack button, which is square or left trigger or right trigger, or I think almost every button.
Hitting square.
Yeah, I think almost every button on that controller is attack or dodge.
Yeah.
So you hold down the attack button, and it actually brings it back to you, but you're completely exposed while you do this.
Yeah, and it does damage on the way back, so there's a
so
little risk-reward there.
Well, and you could potentially, for some of them, launch it into like a corner and then lure them there and then end around them and pull it back to you and kill them that way.
Yeah.
So I need to play more of this game. I didn't play anywhere near enough.
The thing that it really impresses me is you beat the first 5 bosses, and they're pretty tough, but they're easy as Titan Souls go. And then you go into this other area, and it is huge. It's absolutely massive. And there are areas sort of branching off of there. There's like a Lost Woods area from Zelda. There's a fireplace, there's an ice place, there's some other places. And each time you go into an area, I like it because you're kind of, it encourages you to explore a little bit. There's no like blinking arrow where it's like, bosses are over here. It's just kind of like, hey man, I don't know, find some bosses. And you'll find those, the very beginning area, you have that little plate you can stand on that respawns you when you die. Yeah. Every once in a while, you'll run into one of those, and it has those little dots around it for how many bosses are around. And I kind of like that because you jump in there and you're like, okay, all right, okay, let me try this area. There's 3 bosses, and there's a bunch of caves, and you're like, well, I guess I'll just explore. You go beat 2 bosses, and then kind of, there was a little puzzle I had to solve to get to a 3rd boss in this ice area. It's kind of, it's really relaxing between each boss because it kind of needs to be, because
Mm-hmm.
each boss is just like, because I can't overstate it enough. You know how to kill the boss almost
Yeah.
immediately. It's just managing to do it while you're dodging these attacks and finding their weak point and lining up that perfect shot and just killing this seemingly innocent creature with your bow and arrow. And then just being like, oh, yes, I'm the best. Oh, this game.
Yeah, it's real good. That first when I killed that first boss, I was super happy.
Which one did you fight first?
The sort of jelly dude.
Yeah, the green jelly heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's not so much that. So I would say yes, it is one hit to kill the boss, but it may be many more than that to actually get to the boss. So every time you hit this giant, like, it's basically a slime from Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
You hit it and it splits in two and it's smaller. Every time you hit a piece, it halves itself until you get that last piece and it exposes the actual boss. Once you hit that last boss, the whole thing goes away.
And there are some bosses. I'm certainly not going to spoil anything because the game is the bosses.
Yeah.
But there are some bosses where you have to maneuver them into a position where they do something you need them to do to either break them apart or like get them in position where you can take them out.
Yeah.
And it's so good. I'm so stuck on this one boss in this one fire area, and I cannot, like every other boss, you can see its weak spot. It is like flashing purple and pink, and I have a feeling I know how to kill the boss, but it's so much faster than I am. Oh my god. And it's just like I haven't found that combination of things where it's like, okay, if I have it do this and then I have it do that and then it'll freeze and then I can, line up my shot. I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
It's so good. And the other GZ in chat says there's a demo on Steam as well. Pick it up. It will run on anything. I mean, this is it's one of those typical indie games. So it's 2D sprite art based, all that stuff. But yeah, if I had the opportunity to play a demo and I had not watched Giant Bomb's Quick Look, I probably would have bought it right from the demo.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So speaking of getting stuck in games, I got stuck a lot in Axiom Verge this week.
Oh.
Because it's entirely my fault.
Well, I mean, let's not blame yourself all the time.
No.
It could be the
when
game.
you actually look at the map and you go, oh, I could have gone through that door. That's sort of my fault.
I mean, at least you're consistent.
Oh yeah, for sure. I had a solid 2 or 3 days with this game where I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what I'm supposed to be finding. I can get to a bunch of different areas and I can't get past their opening little section. I finally figured out where I had to go because I realized that my mistake, that there was a door where I thought there was a wall. And I went through that door, and it was literally the objective I had been trying to do for 2 to 3 days, and slightly beyond that was the next item I needed to traverse the world.
Metroidvanias.
Yes. So I finally got the second item I need for world traversal, which is the Bionic Commando Arm.
What?
Nice.
Sick.
Yeah.
I gotta play this game, man.
You gotta play this game.
Sheesh.
And I lost my mind when I saw it, because I was like, I can get everywhere.
I can do anything.
Yeah. I was trying to do the crazy stuff. Okay, I want to clear 100% on this map. There's no path between this side on the top and the other side on the top. So I need to hit the ceiling and just Tarzan my way over there. And then I need to, do it so that I can get the second square below that, so I can Tarzan a couple and drop. And then Tarzan a few more and then drop. Because I'm obsessed with getting map completion. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I finally, I get into this. I finally get this thing, and I'm getting back to areas I couldn't get back to because you literally come off a cliff at one point and you're like, oh, I can almost make that jump, but no, I can't. And it's super frustrating. And you get a little drone that you can fire, and you can launch that thing back and over into areas you can't access. And that's sort of, actually, interestingly enough, when you get this drone, It's the morph ball of this game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you launch this little drone, and it can go into all the little spaces, and it's got like a little drill on it, so it can, blast through certain types of blocks.
Awesome.
But it doesn't have all of your, like, you have so much other stuff. It can get to those areas, but for certain spots, you have to be there to do certain things. So, like, the address disruptor will, like, reveal platforms. And, like, your weapons are just more powerful, because literally all this thing has is a little drill on it. So you can only take this thing so far. I love all the powers you get. I love all of the guns that I've gotten so far. Apparently, I'm only at like 29% for item completion. I don't know if that includes like all the the text logs that I've found so far too, or if that's like weapons and things. But I've got like a ton of weapons. I'm only using 2 of them. There's this crazy like laser gun that every time you fire it, and it fires one laser, but a few inches later the laser branches off, and each branch of the laser branches off of itself, and you're losing power every time it branches, but you're hitting everything.
And it looks sick as hell.
Yeah, it does. And then there's the lightning shotgun, which is a lightning shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, how can you pass that up?
Well, it also goes through things. So
does it shoot shurikens too?
Actually, if you're at full health, you shoot you grow like a scorpion tail that shoots bullets.
Amazing.
So that's awesome. This game's amazing.
This game contains
I don't know if I've
cool.
stated that. It's insane. It's got a crazy sci-fi story. It's got sort of it feels like there's sort of a System Shock thing happening. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it feels very if you've seen like the cover art for it, it looks like it's got like that Shodan look.
Yeah.
So you're like, ooh, something sinister is about to happen with some computers. I don't know, man. It's so good. I'm finally back in like the main section of the game where I started, and I'm seeing all these spots where I'm like, oh yeah, I can get there now. Or like I can, I finally got like the 5th heart piece equivalent, like health node. And my health bar is ridiculous now, and like in the first part of the game, nothing can kill me. It's like you actually feel powerful. You're just roaring through this game with a shotgun made of lightning and just destroying everything.
Yes.
Really satisfying. I've accessed a new area that I'm starting to explore, but it's one of those areas that's just one giant long hallway with random like entrances and exits that you can explore. So I'm like mapping the whole thing first.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go back and do like each individual section. Like, okay, there's 6, entrances, exits here. I can go down this one. Let's see what's down here. Okay, let's traverse back up that. Let's go to the one that goes up there. Let's traverse everything there. There's so much to explore in this game. And the story's really good, and like finding the random little notes is really satisfying because they're so few and far between, and they like actually explain stuff about the world. If you like Metroid games, just go buy this game. Like, you don't even play this game. Buy it. Just play it.
I already own it. I just gotta play it.
Just do it. And that's the last game I played this week, but I did pick up Tomb Raider Definitive Edition for PS4 because that is our Game Club game for this.
That one?
Hey, all right.
Yeah, that won by like a pretty wide margin. I think it was the next closest one was Shadow of the Colossus at 5 votes.
Well, Tomb Raider's really good.
I need to find more computers to vote on.
There you go. Wait a minute, what? I didn't have a lot of time to play stuff this week. I played a little bit of Destiny. Last night I got my Hunter up to 30, so now I can solo the beginning of the Crota's End raid.
Sweet.
So I can get some more shards that I desperately need. Maybe some boots.
Some sweet kicks.
Oh man, you don't even know about my sweet kicks. Not a lot.
Dance machines, man.
I didn't buy those.
Oh, they look so cool.
They do look pretty cool. I really wanted the last word though, and I only had 30 coins, so I gotta save them for next. I'm trying to save some stuff for House of Wolves. There's gonna be some cool stuff coming up then.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Me too.
I picked up and started Stealth Inc. 2.
Oh yeah, I played that too. I completely forgot.
Hey, we played Stealth Inc. 2. That intro is crazy good.
That is.
Holy crap!
It's really similar to the one in the first one, but it's way extended.
Oh, okay. I never played the first
yeah.
one, and there's a on the PS4 there's a bundle of like the complete version of the first one and then the second one together, and I figured I'm probably not going to have enough time to play both, and I kind of don't want to I don't want to burn myself out on stealthing, so I'll just pick up the second one and play it. That seems really good so far. I know, Hannah, I know you really enjoyed the first one.
Oh yeah.
Did you play it as Stealth Inc. or did you play it on PC when it was Stealth Bastard?
I did both actually. I downloaded it when it was like free, like initially before they even had any idea how it was going to take off and like get on consoles and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember just seeing it and going, "That looks cool. I like the idea of a 2D stealth game, and that's a great name. I'm going to play that."
Yeah. It seems really great. It is surprisingly a 2D stealth game plus a puzzle game, but they both kind of work in a way that isn't really frustrating.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best reasons is fast respawns. I mean, if you do die, they just spit you out another clone, and then you're just kind of back at it. I didn't spend too much time with that, but I kind of like that. I need to play a lot more of that. It seems pretty. How far did you get in it?
I think I got to the intro and like maybe beat a couple of the rooms after that.
Yeah, I think I beat like 2 or 3 rooms.
Yeah,
nothing serious. Mm-hmm. We already talked about the other games I enjoyed this week. Go play Titan Souls. I started Etrian Mystery Dungeon for the 3DS. I kind of needed something that I could like lay on the couch and play, and the 3DS is perfect for that.
Yeah.
This game, I feel like Atlas needs to stop making games that are so talky when they don't need to be.
Atlas, the pretentious game makers.
It's not even pretension. It's just kind of like the game can tell me, instead of a character telling me that the inn has opened up. When you go into the inn, there's like 4 or 5 options where it's like store stuff in your permanent storage, sleep, buy items, or save and quit the game. You don't need to explain what those mean. Like, there's no need of like, welcome to the inn. I'm the innkeeper. Here's what. Oh, you can get food. I don't. Shut up. I don't care. Like, I just, and this game is great because it is a roguelike, not in what the word means now, where it's like permanent death and replayability. It means that it's a game like Rogue, where when you move, your enemies move. There are traps everywhere. You bring 1 to 4 people in the dungeon with you, and this game is hard as nails. Like, it is a roguelike. I have concerns sort of ongoing about its viability, because it's taking the Etrian Odyssey games, and it's taking the Mystery Dungeon, Shiren roguelikes, and it's mushing them together. I am worried that the Mystery Dungeon side seems fine. That's a fairly solid. They know how to make that. That's a pretty simple and straightforward thing to make. What I'm worried about is the Etrian side, where you have all these different classes. You have your healer, you have your land knight, your warrior. You have all your standard Etrian Odyssey classes, and they have skill trees, and they have stuff, and they have equipment, and all that stuff. I'm kind of worried about how that's going to work when you layer that on top of the simple needs of a roguelike, which is basically, you're kind of slowly improving your stuff as you go through and as you get more and more characters through these dungeons, or more importantly, you learn how to game the roguelike and get deeper in these dungeons. But roguelikes are supposed to be based on your skill, or like, oh, I got a really great roll in the dungeon, so I'll have a pretty easy time this time, instead of, okay, well, I died in this dungeon, and now I'll go back to town, and I have half my gold, and I have half my experience, but now I can at least level up a little bit, and then I can get deeper. I'm curious about how those two mesh together, because when you looked at Persona Q, that made a lot of sense, where you take Etrian Odyssey and you kind of change the RPG system to be Persona. You're just kind of lifting one RPG system and you're putting in another one.
Yeah.
But this one is kind of, you take chocolate and you take peanut butter and you take jam and you put them together and you mix them up. Maybe that doesn't always taste great. So
you got peanut butter and sardine sandwich there, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I feel like roguelikes, when you look at traditional roguelikes like Rogue, you look at there's that PS3 game that came out that was a roguelike that I really liked a couple months ago. I don't even remember what that one's called. Those are standard games, and you can extrapolate those a little bit more when you go into something like Toe Jam and Earl. You go into something like other roguelikes like that.
Brain Cloud.
Yeah, Brain Cloud. Brain Cloud is thick today, man. It's a fairly straightforward formula, and I wonder how far you can stretch it before it kind of breaks, and it's like, well, this one just doesn't work. So I don't know. I'll put more time into it because it's pretty fun. It's well presented. It controls well. The menus are a little bit insane, and they're a little bit harder than they should be to use on a minute-to-minute basis. But I don't know. It seems pretty great so far. But that's all I'm playing. So let's take a break. Boy, my voice is going out early.
Ooh.
Man, I gotta pee.
Oh, stretch. Yeah, man, you gotta play that Axiom Verge.
I really do. When I started Titan Souls, I'm sort of like, maybe I'll play it for about 15 minutes. And like 2 hours later, I'm like, what am I? Oh, it's late. Huh. Yeah. Okay.
I honestly, at this point, I would almost wait for Axiom Verge to hit Vita, because I've done remote play on there at 60 FPS, and it's phenomenal on there.
Nice.
Yeah, the only trouble I have with it is the placement of one of the way they put the R2 button in there, because you often need to utilize I can't remember what it was, but like the way you have to like use your index finger on the front touch screen to hit it in some instances, but that's usually accurate enough for me.
Yeah.
And you never have to use it in a situation like an emergency,
Right.
It'll be some situations where you like have to be able to jump and use that thing as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty cool.
More puzzles and less boss battles.
Yes. Yeah, you'll have time to actually like utilize the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good though.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised about Titan Souls.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be pretty good, and I watched the Giant Bomb quick look, and I was like, oh, this seems right up my alley. And I played it for a while, and I was like, this is really great. And I worry that people are going to overlook it because, it is like, I'm an indie game and I'm 2D sprite based. Yeah. And it's like it
is all of those things.
It seems very stereotypically indie in the way that I feel like people crap on a lot of indie games, because it's like, oh, what are you, a 2D based platformer? I bet it has roguelike elements,
Yeah.
But it's good, and it's super small. I think on PS4 it was like 300 megs.
It's only like 200 something on Vita. It was insanely small.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. I don't like having like massive games on my hard drive all the time. Like I had to delete like 3 or 4 things just to install Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
It was
and
crazy.
The soundtrack is really good too. Like once you get out of that first area, and you can kind of just explore, that the soundtrack gets real good.
Nice.
Oh man, that game.
I gotta play that some more. I think I'll play that tonight.
It's one of those games where like the boss kills you for like the 15th time, and you're just like, fuck.
Like, come on, do it.
Or you get like real close to its weak spot, and it just like tings off the boss, and you're just like,
yeah. I think I'm not sure I had that with the second boss I fought, the block dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had that. I was like real close to getting him on like the corner.
Oh man, you will have that with rough. The boss at the top of that area.
Oh yeah,
that one's a gatekeeper.
I know exactly what I have to do to beat the one that's frozen in ice. I just can't manage it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just slides at you, and you're like, oh, I see. It's got to land on the thing, and I've got to put my arrow through the fire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of like that they came up with 4 bosses at the beginning that are all kind of hard, and they're all really different enough that they're all kind of teaching you something.
Yeah. It's a good tutorial without being a tutorial. It's like that first level of Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. I'm ready to do this next segment if you guys are.
Yeah, let me make sure I got show notes up.
I see you in there.
Yeah, I do. All right.
I see you, baby.
Oh, God, no, I'm not going to play any of that this week because Shovel Knight's coming out.
Yep. And Ziggurats coming out, which I'm so excited for.
Oh.
I've been waiting for that to come out. It's been on Xbox One for a while, and I've been waiting for it to come to PS4.
Nice.
Oh. Every time I hear the word Ziggurat, I think of that remake of Metropolis. That dude with the big nose, Ziggurat.
That's a weird place to go.
Ziggurat.
Possibly the weirdest.
No,
No, we can talk about Doom Megalopolis.
That's what I was just about to reference.
Touche.
So inappropriate for this and show, even in between breaks.
Still one of the funniest moments. We just both look at each other like...
He was like, what the fuck is that? Am I high? Are you seeing this?
Well, it wasn't so bad. It was like, it had like the white fingers, and then this thing came out and just flopped around. Like,
yeah, and I'm just like, all right. Maybe we have pushed it too far with obscure anime.
Yeah.
Maybe this is our limit. We've had a good run.
I think I hit my limit with Devil Lady. Man, that was bad.
Oh, yeah. You fell on that sword yourself.
I fell on a bunch of them. After Soul Taker turned out being good, I thought I was invincible.
That's true. That's true.
Soul Taker! That damn theme song was so bad. How was it good? Soul Taker!
Oh, anime.
Soul Taker!
How I've missed you, anime.
Yeah, find out who does the Soul Taker theme, so I gotta listen to this now.
What was that one show we watched where the ending theme was by like REO Speedwagon? Do you remember that? It wasn't Witch Hunter Robin, right?
No.
It was one of those where we're like, God, this sounds so familiar. It was like them or Journey.
Was it Wolf's Rain?
Might have been Wolf's Rain.
This is great.
Am I wrong?
No, it was something like that.
No, Hannah, am I wrong about that? Like, it is...
It's phenomenal.
Welcome
to anime.
Remember, so like, all right, we watched the first one. Was like, all right, we watched the first DVD. We're like, all right, maybe it'll get better.
Yeah.
We watched the second one. It was just a train wreck. It was just the worst.
Even worse. And we're just
like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm finishing this series. The third disc was amazing, and the fourth one was even better.
Yeah. Oh man, I still have that. I still have those DVDs.
Heat Guy J had a really quirky theme too.
Just that keyboard sting and that piano in there.
It's Soul Taker, like it's like backup singers. Like
there it is. The Hellsing end theme was Shine by Mr. Big.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's the one I was thinking of. Oh man. Anywho,
that was fun.
Let's do this next segment here.
Man, we watched some weird stuff.
I think my wife is making brownies.
Oh, that was fantastic. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Anime is here to brighten up your day.
Oh,
at least it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. Oh, hold on, my nose is running. Man, it got cold out. Alright, so should I buy a Nest, yes or no?
Like an NES?
No, like a Nest. N-E-S-T, the thermostat.
I don't know, man. I think those are super cool.
They're pretty cool, but the security's super weak. Yeah. It's not an issue with like a thermostat.
What
like
the fuck? Are they gonna hack my house and make it hot in here? Like what?
I don't.
You know what? Just because you said it, yes, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, you know,
I'm gonna drive to Ohio. I'm gonna war drive your house, and I'm gonna crank up the heat.
we have continued to make our house a lot more connected ever since we moved in. And if you can pair all that stuff with if this then that, I think it makes it all. Because Knobs, you can say, all right, I have pulled in my driveway. Your phone will tell your Nest that you have pulled in your driveway and that you need to turn it up to a certain temperature because it has turned the temperature down while you were gone.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then that way when you walk in the house, you don't have to mess with it because your house is getting warmer already.
Nice.
Well, and I'm thinking, like for like the summer when it's hot as balls out, and I hate coming home to a hot house. Like it needs to be like fridge. I want to see my breath. It's so fucking cold in here.
Yeah. Well, and if this and that just launched a bunch of new apps. Like if you do, there's an app called Do Button where basically you can just push a button and it's like, look, I'm driving home right now. I need you to turn the AC on. That way, when I get home in a little bit, it's gonna be a lot cooler.
Yeah. Genius.
See?
That's pretty awesome.
All right. Well, now I know where my Best Buy certificates are going now.
Yep.
But I did see there's a guy who did helped out with a report on one of the local news channels about like people who were hooking like their garage door openers up to stuff like that, and like their internal like IP cameras up to that stuff.
Yep.
And like the security on that stuff is a joke.
Well,
Like,
same
you
thing
could
with
walk around
anything
with
that
a phone
gets-
and just be like, oh look, I connected to it. Oh look, I disabled it and I opened your garage. Thanks for all the free stuff.
Well, I mean, essentially, your garage room is an RF blaster anyway. Like they can mimic that really easy.
Yeah.
Sure. I think the thing to take away is make sure that you secure your wireless network. The more stuff that you put on there, the more you need to have that secured.
It is. I have a really dumb password. I love it.
Yeah. That's probably the opposite of what we're talking about.
What?
Like a dumb, stupid long, or like...
No, it's like dumb. Like it's the most random words I've ever seen come out of the box and a couple numbers. Like
okay, I thought it was really dumb. Where it's like, my password is password.
No.
Okay.
I mean, dumb. Like these two words couldn't be any more weirder. That I can't change this.
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay. He should be fine.
Cool.
I would say it, but I don't know who lives close.
Let's not give your Wi-Fi password. You want to give your social number too?
I like it. I like this password too much to change it. And like it that much. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases for the week of March 20th, 2015. What's up, buddy?
I don't.
Time travel?
Oh, March
20th?
Hey, don't worry. When I did Pup the other week, I said it was 2014. So I'm all over the place. Brain fog.
It happens. Brain fog. Everything's brain fog.
Yeah.
Need to go to volcanoes. All right. Shovel Knight for the PS4, PS3, and PS Vita.
It's so good. Just
Super
go get it. I think does it come out for Xbox One and 360 this week too?
Maybe.
I didn't see it listed, but
I don't know.
if it does, you should go buy it. Whatever console you have, buy it on there.
I'm not sure. I really want to play on the Vita, but I really need to finish Grim Fandango.
Oh yeah, I gotta finish that too.
Yeah, I should start that.
Because right now that is bogarted my entire memory card.
TVGP, we've got stuff to do.
Yeah. We got games somewhere.
Alrighty. Assassin's Creed Chronicles China for the PS4, XBO, and PC.
I'm very excited about these games. They are 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up sort of games. They look kind of... Don't buy this on this alone. They kind of look like... was it that Shadow of the Ninja games? What were those games?
Mark of the Ninja?
Mark of the Ninja, yeah. It looks very similar like that. I'm not going to say it's got great stealth, and I'm not going to say it's super great games. I'm saying I'm probably going to buy them because I like Assassin's Creed, and it looks like fun.
Okay.
It's the first of 3 Chronicles games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and Sayonara Umahara Kawase Plus for the PlayStation Vita.
Hell yeah.
Full golf clap for that pronunciation there.
Guys.
Yeah.
Did I nail it?
You got
you
it.
nailed it, yeah.
Show's over.
Alright.
It's all
Good
downhill
night,
from here.
everybody. I'm out.
I think this is the last Umahara Kawase game. This series has been around for 20-something years. And I think this might be the last one. So If you've never played one before, they're pretty fun. It's like if you took Bionic Commando and added physics to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
And the Ziggurat on the PS4.
I've been waiting for this to come out on PS4 for like 6 months. I'm so excited.
What is this?
It's a first-person, fantasy-based, procedurally generated dungeon crawler. Basically, think about Heretic or Hexen on the PC from back in the day, and then make that procedurally generated.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, you need to. Giant Bomb has a really good quick look on it.
Okay.
They've shown it about 2 or 3 times. Watch that quick look; you'll know immediately whether or not you want it.
Okay.
You probably do.
It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. It's been out on Xbox One for a couple weeks, but for some reason it just didn't come out on PS4 yet. So, getting it. All right, moving on to news stories. Out of nowhere, new Guitar Hero announced.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite my better urges.
I really thought you were going to spite my rage.
No, I'm still just a rat in a cage. But I mean, like, despite my better urges, I am super pumped about this new Guitar Hero.
It looks pretty cool.
Man, couldn't they have just made it not good? So
now you have to support 2 franchises.
Yeah, I really do. And they more plastic stuff again. Thanks, 2015 / 2006. All right, so they're coming out with a new guitar, which has 6 fret buttons. It's 2 rows of 3. I was surprised by them coming out to say the problem that people had with Guitar Hero in the past was 1, using their pinky, and then 2, moving their hand down the neck of the guitar. For a lot of people, once they hit medium and they tried to move over to hard, they just couldn't.
You don't move your whole hand down. You just stretch your pinky a little more, guys.
Well, I mean,
for a lot of
like the big hand here, like
just reach it.
For a lot of people, though, that was a problem, and I knew a lot of the people like that, where either they didn't. I think a lot of people didn't want to spend the time rewiring their brain to get their pinky to do that stuff. So once you moved beyond 3 buttons, it might as well have been 70 buttons down the neck of this controller, you know. So I think that's really interesting. And I think what they were saying is, like, we want to make it easier for the people that were playing easy and medium, because now you just have 3 buttons and you're done. Yeah. But they want to make it harder for people like us that are playing on the high end, where now you have 6 buttons and you have to hold chords and you have to do a lot of stuff. There are, I don't know what they're called in guitar parlance, but, gotcha. But where you don't hold anything on the neck and you just strum. I don't know what they call this.
Open string.
Perfect. I learned something today.
Guitar balance.
I'm not a guitarist, a guitarer.
Well, we got one, don't we? The aficionado over the top right.
Now we learned something. Open string.
And now we know.
Yeah. So they got some of that. So I think for me, as someone who likes playing these games and do not like playing real guitar, I think that's really interesting, kind of getting it a little bit more difficult without saying, like, pick up your real guitar. I don't want to play Rocksmith, even though those are very good games.
Well, yeah, and you're looking at a more vertical approach to the whole thing, which is one of the things you learn about playing guitar is, like, you don't necessarily want to go strictly horizontal, just straight down the neck. You want to be able to go up and down between the different strings.
Right.
And with that setup, they're opening up the hand positions for what you call
power chords.
For regular power chords where you just have, like, your index finger and then, like, your ring finger holding down a couple of different strings. You have inverted power chords where you're just switching your positions of the ring finger and the index finger. And there's bar chords where you're just using, like, the entire flat side of your index finger to hold down, like, 3 or 4 strings.
I just learned a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guitar Hero.
you're setting up all this really, really cool stuff, and it looks like the way they've got, from what I saw of the pictures, it looked like the buttons are flared out just a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to hit like both the top and bottom ones at the same time.
Yeah. It seems like from the close-up shots of the guitar, it seems like it's made really well for you to do that stuff specifically. And looking at the interface in the game, they're handling it really interestingly, because one row are white keys, one row are black keys, but in the game they also have, if you need to hit the bottom keys, it's just a picture, almost like a symbol of a guitar pick, and it's pointing down. If it's the up ones, it's pointing up.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's no longer, they talked about at the press conference, they talked about, well, we don't need to color the buttons anymore because you don't really need that level of information anymore. You just need to know, is it the middle one on the top? Is it the left one on the bottom? Which one and which row. There's sort of two different modes in the game. One is Guitar Hero TV, where basically you're playing guitar over the music videos of that song.
Which is really cool.
Is basically SingStar, which has worked. So I don't know why you wouldn't mess with that. And then there's Guitar Hero Live, which is... It's an FMV game.
Yeah.
In the craziest way.
And it's 2015, and it's an FMV game, and I'm actually excited to play it.
Yeah, so
and not ironically.
Everybody should watch the trailers because it is crazy. And you're a guitarist in a band, and you go through from the one of the back rooms all the way through the back area of the stage, and you go up on the stage, and you and your band full of live people in front of thousands of live people play the song, and it's crazy.
Play my song.
It's so crazy. In 2015 someone's coming out with an FMV game that you can see in the video, you can see the branching paths of you're doing very poorly. So someone in the front row holds up a sign that says "You suck" and they're yelling at you. Yeah. Which I don't know why you would go to a concert with a sign that says "You suck" and be in the front row, but I'm not going to judge anybody.
Your shows are going so bad, you're not playing behind chicken wire.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It seems really interesting, and it seems like they're doing the rock band progression, where it's basically you're starting in really small clubs where there's just a couple of people, and then you're ending up at these giant, 100,000 people performances near the end.
Nice.
I just think that everything they have shown leaves me sort of cautiously optimistic about. It seems like they understand what they did beforehand, and that worked before, but we can't have you can't have the cartoony characters, and you can't have this stuff, and it kind of didn't mesh with this more hardcore guitar game that they were trying to make, and they're trying to make a game that's more accessible, like what SingStar has done, because what they're also saying is, hey, you don't own a console, just play it on your tablet and have your tablet display it on your TV. Yeah. And then you can play Guitar Hero on that.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect sense, because if you think about it's an FMV game, what are your graphics?
Right.
It's the runway, which is, that can't be graphically intensive at all, and a video. Well, and I phones can play videos like gangbusters.
Well, and I think the thing, too, that's really interesting is, obviously they can't, because when you look at the videos, they've released 4 or 5 videos of just entire songs, and you can tell that the band that's on stage with you is playing the actual song that you're playing. So it's not like creative editing where there's a drum solo and you're just not looking at the drummer. The drummer's actually playing the song that you're playing. So I think that's why you have to have Guitar Hero Live and then Guitar Hero TV, because they're not going to keep, all right, everybody, let's get back on the stage because Fall Out Boy released a new song, and now we need to go make they just put the video underneath it and then call it a day.
Have you heard about the production process they did for those videos?
No.
So they had, I forget, it was a mechanical thing. It was like a robot or something that was timed to look and pan and do all of those things at the exact same time. They programmed it so that, play the song over it, and they would just do the bad version and the good version.
Right.
So there's the one where you're failing and the band members are like coming up to you like, dude, get it together.
Yeah, they're yelling at you.
And then there's the ones where they're like coming up to you just to be like, yeah, party.
We are playing music.
Back, man.
And you're panning back and forth, and they do this like fade out in between the two, but it's almost seamless because there's no like jarring jump between the videos.
It looks a lot like someone shines one of those stage lights in your face for a second, and it's just like, whoa, hey, I'm doing all right, yeah, woo.
Yeah,
star power.
I don't know, like this, everything that they keep showing, I'm sort of like, okay, this looks pretty great, and the set list, the track list, that they've announced so far has been kind of crazy, where it's like Fall Out Boy, Skrillex, the Black Keys, and I'm just like, wait, sorry, what was the middle one?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're just gonna put.
You didn't know Skrillex was heavily guitar heavy?
Some of Skrillex is. Skrillex isn't that bad. Don't hate me, but like, it's kind of interesting to see them trying to put other stuff in the game other than here the greatest songs from the 70s to the 90s. You know, like we've done that before.
But like that's the reason I bought those games, man.
Well, sure, that's the reason why that's why frequency worked.
Well, and I think the they're also saying like all of these bands and the Rolling Stones. So it's like, okay, so you're still gonna
that's
play. But I think what's really interesting is that they're taking this stuff, and like Harmonix has been saying for Rock Band, is they are, and you'll notice they haven't put a different name on Guitar Hero, because it seems like they're going to make another platform. And they're going to get it out early in the generation's life cycle, and they're going to say, great, we have this mobile version, and you have a phone or a tablet somewhere in your house. Someone does, I know for sure. Buy this plastic guitar, which the game and the guitar for like PS4 and Xbox One are $100 for the whole package. Seems very reasonable.
Yeah.
They're not talking about drums or vocals or keyboard or anything. They're just talking about guitar. And it seems like they're more than happy to say, like, okay, here's this platform. We're just going to start throwing music in it. And one of the cool modes they showed the other day was, I don't really know what they're calling it. It's part of TV. But basically, you jump into a playlist that's going on, and you're competing against other random people. And there's like a place where it's like, oh, you're third place now in the playlist because you've been doing these great streaks, and these other people, here's their other score too. And you can just hop in and hop out of a playlist like that. Just a lot of cool sounding stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of it seems
awesome.
Lifted from the success that SingStar has had, but it's been so popular, why not?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and people seem to love it, so...
Cool. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. But that production process definitely prevents them from just putting out DLC where it's just like, oh yeah, we released a bunch of new songs. Here's a whole new Guitar Hero Live, like 10 songs. Like, no, that's not going to happen. That's why they have the Guitar Hero TV, where they can just go, oh, they made a music video for it. Cool, load it up. Let's get the master tracks.
Highway's right on top of it. All right.
Mix them on. Sweet. Let's do it.
And I have to imagine, too, that if you're not looking at drums and vocals and all this other stuff, that the mastering process and the charting process has to be way easier, because it's like, okay, just get me the guitar track, a really clean guitar track, and then we'll layer everything else underneath it, and if you fail out, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm sort of cautiously optimistic. I'd like to see guitar games do really well. Rocksmith is a really great game, but you have to want to play an actual real guitar.
Yeah.
And if you do, that's a surprisingly great franchise for you to hop into. But if not, there hasn't been anything to fill that gap. Now the only thing to see is, does anybody care anymore?
Yeah.
I think they've given it just enough time.
Yep.
Where you're getting people going like, hey man, remember Guitar Hero? Remember how much fun that was?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they let it die out for the last year and a half.
It's been 3 years.
The life cycle. 3. You got a year and a half built into the new systems.
Yep.
It seems like the right time.
And I think they said it's coming out this fall. So, unsurprisingly, Guitar Hero and Rock Band are going to be competing against each other again this fall. But, I think the biggest thing is if you can come out with a tablet version of that game that is free and maybe it's free and it comes with like 5 songs, and then you just start pumping songs into that game as DLC.
Yeah.
That's probably pretty successful. So, we'll see. We have 2 weird MMO stories sort of rounding it out because I needed to put other news stories in here. Bungie announced the Destiny House of Wolves expansion with a super great trailer and virtually no details. They'll be dripping that out throughout the next couple of weeks here. But they did announce that it won't have a new raid, which has set the internet ablaze.
Yep.
There is something called the Prison of Elders, which, if you want to assume a lot of stuff sounds like a horde mode, which I think would be really great in Destiny. Yeah. And I think it's something they're showing off not this week, but the week after. So I think it's really interesting because Bungie has had a lot of problems with their second raid. And I think their raids need to have a little bit more time in the oven because basically they come out and people crack them open immediately. And they're like, all right, what's next? And they're like, something like 3 months from now. I don't know. And so I think if Prison of Elders isn't a horde mode, I think that is something that would easily fit into Destiny because we can get 3 to 6 people together to do that stuff and then have difficulties, have modifiers and stuff like that, have the burns that they have on some of the weekly stuff. I think that could be pretty appealing. For how much did we play Gears of War 3? And that had no rewards.
That's beyond counting.
That just had experience bars we were filling.
Skins.
Yeah, and we didn't even get any cool loot or anything other than like skins and stuff like that, and onyx metals. So I can imagine that if you do this thing at an incredibly high difficulty, and then you get some really cool gear or weapons or shaders or ships at the end of it.
You know what's funny is shockingly more is Gears 2. How much we played that horde mode.
That's true.
Because there was literally nothing you got out of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's true. And then they finally announced the Trials of Osiris, which is this heavily competition-based PvP mode.
Nice.
That sounds really great because it's kind of interesting to see them sort of say, well, all right, here's the stuff for PvE. We've been listening. Here's all the stuff for PvP. We've been listening. Now go do all this cool stuff. Get some loot.
Absolutely. And as far as the Prison of Elders go, I think a horde mode really fits Destiny better than a raid does at this point, because as cool as what I've heard Vault of Glass is, all the issues they had with Crota's End, people being able to how many one-man runs are there of Crota's End out there now? There's tons of them. Yep. It's barely even a raid. It's just a slightly more difficult strike at this point.
I just saw a speed run of that the other day with a 6-man team on normal mode for Crota's End. It was 12 minutes and 15 seconds.
Oh, that's rough.
And I'm saying that as a dude who has finished both raids once and would like to play them more and just don't generally have enough time. Yeah. But and that's the problem too, is like for Bungie, how do you balance that? How do you balance people like us that aren't going to run the raid, each raid 3 times, one for each character? You have your checklist for the whole week. I've run them a bunch of times and I really like it, but we don't have a group that's moving through it like SEAL Team 6, and just kind of clearing this thing 3 times on each Tuesday. How do you balance between like people who aren't cheesing and cracking open the raid versus people who are literally waiting for this thing to open, at midnight the first day it's available, and then kind of competing for world first?
Yeah.
That's tough. And they're going through the same cycle that Blizzard did when WoW came out.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a learning experience.
Absolutely. And I think Horde mode just suits the gameplay style so much better than a new raid ever could.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Interesting. Yeah.
And then, speaking of WoW, their new patch came out that came up with something that I think is kind of neat, and it won't make me come back to WoW, but I think it's a cool idea of something they're calling time walking. basically, back in the day when I was playing WoW, there was a collection of dungeons that were really hard, especially when they first landed. They were incredibly difficult, like Mana Tombs, Shattered Halls, Halls of Lightning. There were these 5-man dungeons that you would go through, and you kind of had to be on top of your game to finish this.
Yeah, if you're going far enough back, you're talking like Lower Blackrock Spire, Upper Blackrock Spire, like the old school
Shalamance stuff. Like that.
Shalamance.
Are you guys saying words or
yes?
Just...
So what I think is really interesting is they've never gone back and they've never scaled those dungeons, because people that are playing the low-level characters need to have those low-level dungeons to get some gear, get some experience, all that stuff. And people are sort of like, oh man, I'd love to play those again if they were difficult, but there's no, because we're level 100 now. I can't go back into a level 10 dungeon and you just sleepwalk through that solo. So what they did is they did this time walking thing where Friday through Monday every week they have an older dungeon that has been your character is scaled down to the dungeon's difficulty, and then if you complete it, you get gear that is scaled up to your character. So
cool. Basically,
if you go into a level 10 dungeon, your gear and your character and all that stuff is level 10, and you need to, just like before, you have to, have your stuff together to get through it. But at the end of it, you can get some really, really great gear for your level 100 character.
That seems an elegant solution to that problem.
And I think it's I think it seems, the other JZ in chat says, time walking sounds cool, but there's no way I'm jumping back on that treadmill. Me either, yep. But I think if you're on the treadmill right now, that just gives you way more content to go through with your current end level character. I think that sounds kind of cool. I think that's a cool idea for how to address that specific problem.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. Good job. I think Final Fantasy 14 does something similar, but I don't know that much about 14. So
yeah, same here.
Other than it's supposed to be really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's all news stories. Let's go on to tweets. Don't forget you can send us a tweet at TVGP on the Twitter. Adderblack39 hits us up. Hi, guys. Hi. Do you think the next gen of consoles will finally get all games to run at 60 frames per second? I thought they'd crack it this gen. No. Because unfortunately, people value graphical quality more than they do frame rate.
Which is a shame, because frankly, I'd rather have a game run at 720p 60 than at 1080p 30.
I'd rather have the choice. I'd rather you say I'd rather be able to say like, hey, do you want 30 frames or 60 frames? And if I say 60, pull down some of the lighting effects, I'm not a game developer. You could probably still keep it at 1080p, pull down some of the effects, pull down some particle stuff, have bodies disappear faster, stuff like that. I value frame rate, and I like 60 frames a lot more than I like 1080p.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I think in this generation, the difference between 720p and 1080p, unless you're a crazy visual file, that it doesn't really matter. Just as long as that thing plays butterly smooth, it doesn't matter what it looks like.
And I know a lot of people take offense to that argument, but I think for so many people, they're not buying Halo 5 because it's 1080p versus 900p.
Yeah.
There are people that are like, I don't know, man, 900p, that's not nearly as good as 1080. A lot of people are just buying the game because it looks cool.
Yep.
But if it's under 30 frames a second, then they're sort of like, that's kind of choppy. Like, that doesn't seem very cool. Like, I don't know. I've always been 720. I think looks really good. 1080. I think looks really great.
Absolutely.
And I can sometimes tell the difference, and sometimes I can't.
Well, yeah. The only thing that even sticks out to me anymore is the refresh rate.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing that makes anything look significantly different in my eyes anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. We'd get there this gen, but unfortunately, not really.
Yeah.
The next person, Super Lobster 06.
Ooh, hey, Super Lobster.
And says, maybe it's been asked, but what would make the next Mass Effect perfect? I think just I think if you take what they did with Dragon Age Inquisition and they make a good game bigger and just smooth all the edges, I think that would be a pretty great Mass Effect game. Give us more planets, give us more stuff to do on each planet, give us more impactful choices throughout the story.
Mm-hmm.
I already like Mass Effect. That you just need to kind of turn up the dials, but not too far, because I don't want someone to be like, "Oh man, did you see this side quest?" And it's like, "No, where is it?" And it's like, "Oh, it's this planet." It's like, I haven't even been in that solar system. Like, how you don't want it to be too big, I don't think, but.
I would almost like to see a smaller story in the Mass Effect universe. You know what I mean? Not like this galaxy-spanning, like...
You don't want to save the galaxy again.
We've already saved the galaxy.
Yeah.
Let's look at
we
some
want
of
to
the
finish
more...
the fight.
We already finished the fight. It was,
No, I think that's a good idea, because if you can take, like... the thing that I don't want out of the next Mass Effect is, like... 50,000 years after the Reaper. Now the Reapers are back. You know, it's like, no. I don't want that.
Not at all.
That's my South Park voice.
All I need is just a definitive version of Mass Effect 2 and call it a day.
Sure, if you can get us another Mass Effect game, I think if you look at Mass Effect 2 and why people loved it, you need to have a solid story that is personal. And you need to have those loyalty missions where you can build your crew, you can build up each one of your crew members' stories, you can do all that cool stuff, and just it doesn't have to be a lot.
Yeah.
Nope.
Just be great.
I would love to have like that.
No pressure, just be great.
Yeah. I would love to have that top-down
view. Be the greatest Mass Effect you can be.
Yeah.
I would like that top-down view from Dragon Age Inquisition to make it in there somehow.
Sure, yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, if you want to sort of blend those two together, yeah.
Yeah.
A turn-based Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Give me space.
Yeah, just give me space. Like, give
me space, the Gether requirement. I'm good.
Yeah, like, I didn't hate Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3. Just give me more of that. I think maybe manage story expectations throughout the games a little bit better, but
they have to make you empathize with the villain. I mean, that's the most. I think that's why
that's been the problem in all three of those games.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think you did a really good job. They didn't do it very, very well in 1, but they did it great with 2 because pretty much the collectors were turned into slaves, like through that story.
True. Yeah.
And you're like, man, I really wanted to see what these things were before that.
Yeah,
and then you get Javik, that's a total D. But,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, 1 and 3 they didn't do a good job. 1 they really tried. They really did.
They really tried to do the whole Sinestro fall from grace, the best of us against us.
Yeah, and it just didn't. It needed a little bit more. It never really got there, but
2 just was such a great game. Man, it's one of the best games I've ever played.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, let's move on to email.
Email.
Don't forget tvgpfans@gmail.com for all of your emails. You can send them in anytime. I just flag them in Gmail, and I read them. Dave, a.k.a. RoboPig, writes in, hey, guys, a few questions about VR. Are you hopeful that it's about its potential or resigned to thinking it will be a tech fad?
I don't know.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah. I want it to work and not make me sick.
I want it to work, but I don't want to use it.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I'm not drawn to it.
I don't want to completely isolate myself from my surroundings.
That's my problem. I think there's so many of us that can't afford to do that. You put on the noise-canceling headphones, and you put on this thing that covers your whole head, and I know I sound like an 80-year-old person who just got a smartphone, but, like, I don't want to be sealed off from my family with this thing that I'm putting on my head.
How do I use this? There's no buttons.
Yeah. What am I doing with my hands? I don't. Yeah.
I don't know. I think augmented reality really should be the move they're making.
I can get behind that. Yeah,
I can totally get behind that.
I think that's pretty cool. I have a pretty cool house. I want to see aliens and zombies running around it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I would be okay with some augmented reality stuff.
I want to run around my house like a crazy person and just trying to hunt stuff. Like,
chasing your dogs because they look like dinosaurs.
Oh my god, how cool would that be?
Done. That one's for free, internet.
Raptor Samson running around. Come on, dude.
Shooting foam Nerf darts after him.
Yes. Oh god, that sounds awesome.
So that's, I think for me, VR doesn't seem very appealing, especially as someone who gets dizzy just like riding in a car.
Oh, yeah, that'd be a problem.
Yeah, a little bit. But I think when you talk about AR, and I think the possibilities of